Betsy. I have looked over your lesson plan and ready to give you some feedback. I'm just going to use the exact same rubric, and so we'll go over the lesson plan in sections, starting at the top with elements and presentation. So this looks fantastic, not only complete, but very thoroughly done. I like to see that you are looking to previous standards for vertical alignment and that your new content knowledge shows a breadth of understanding of what you're asking your students to do. So not only is it well aligned from prior content to new content, but it also shows an awareness that you're doing some additional pieces with them beyond the content, word wall, bookmark, things like that. By the way, I had word walls some of my best years of teaching. I had word walls that we just built every single week, and we had so much fun with those. The kids and I had a really good time, and they worked well. They were really beautiful reference points on a daily basis. So if you get your own classroom, I'm a fan. Okay, so I got distracted there. Elements and presentation looks fantastic, nicely done. All right, so let's move on to desired results. I like the fact that you've drilled down to one specific evidence outcome for this lesson. You know, I'm a fan of doing one thing and doing it well, so nicely done. Your essential questions for the content area are well done, and my criteria for those is to see if they align well with the established goals, which it does, and to see if they're written in such a way that that students can process them, and I think this is. Your essential questions global are also well done. I think that global questions are well done when they're questions that real people ask in the real world, you know, like outside of school, and I think that that is a real question that people can think about and talk about. So well done. Students will be able to is well done. You've pulled from the evidence outcomes. You have a by clause and it's followed by observable outcome. Students will understand is well done. It aligns nicely with your evidence outcomes. Okay, so desired results looking great. Assessments are looking great too. You know, I'm not necessarily grading these at this point as much as I am looking for alignment with the evidence outcome and completion, and both of those are well done. All right. In your learning plan, I'll start on the side. I think your ideas for differentiation and modification are really well done. It shows me that you're thinking about students who struggle in class and doing just a few little things for them that can help them feel more successful and help them move along well with the class. So nicely done on that part. Okay. For your content, Okay, so what we're doing is previewing the text. What we're doing is having the book up on the Elmo, okay? It's 7:30 in the morning, the bell rings, the kids sit down, they look at you, and the teacher says, has anyone ever seen or heard of this book before? And the kids go, no. That's a dangerous thing to do, okay? The first thing that has happened to them during your class is that they were presented with something that they don't know, and it was publicly announced that they don't know it. You know, and here's the thing, Betsy, you do this one time, it's not going to make or break anyone. No one's going to, you know, be devastated. But if you do something like this too many times, if students are feeling like this too many times, and you got to remember, these kids are going to history class, math class, science class, your class. There's a lot of stuff these kids feel, unfortunately, they feel dumb about, right? And the first thing that they've said to you is no. The first thing that you've demonstrated to them is you don't know. So I'm going to recommend a change here. You have led with the content, and hey, from one lover of The Alchemist to the other, I get it, because this is like one of the coolest books ever. But it's still a book. You're still an English teacher, and they're still students. You've led with the text, and so many kids are just like, they're going to turn off right away, okay? Now, this is something interesting, okay? Do we know what an alchemist is? Again, a lot of kids are going to say no, so be careful. And yes, alchemy has something to do with gold. I want to see you get a little creative here. You know, that's one of the places on the lesson plan rubric that that I'm not grading for. Okay, this conversation. I'm not having a conversation with you. I'm talking at you right now because you can't hear me yet. The creativity piece is not something I'm grading for yet, but let's look at that. It says, not every lesson must have a gimmick, but every lesson plan should indicate that the teacher is confident and comfortable with the content. This confidence is what enables the teacher to be creative in how the content is presented, developed, and assessed. Give me something a little more hooky, a little more grabby in here. It doesn't have to be gimmicky about alchemy, right? Because think about, you and I both know because we've read the book, okay? The Alchemist is not necessarily about turning everything into gold. It's a metaphor. This book is one huge allegory of never giving up, of chasing your dreams, of defining your gold and going after it. Now that is something that everyone can relate to, okay? So see about some kind of a change in there that you start with, I don't know, pictures of piles of gold, and who wouldn't want this, right? And in reality, a bunch of us are going to live our entire lives and never see a pile of gold bars like that, blah, 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 okay? Common human experience of wanting gold, right? Common human experience of wanting something bad enough that you stick with it, go for it, okay? Then move into this, okay, we're going to read a book called The Alchemist, right? Does anyone know what alchemists do? Some do, some don't. But okay, we've already brought in your experience that tells you, that tells them that they can be valued in class, right? And then you can move on, okay? So, love the reference to Harry Potter. I like that. I think that as we're moving, as I'm kind of moving back onto the rubric here, lesson plan includes engaging, open and close, and it reinforces the day's learning. So you're working for engagement here with Harry Potter. You transition them into looking at the cover of a book. So at this point, we're still very heavily focused on the content, and I haven't quite gotten to that objective for the day, and I haven't quite made that objective clear to the students. And then you move from talk about the book, talk about the title, look at the cover of the book, read the book, okay? And we still don't know objectives or reasons for doing what we're doing. Bear with me while I scroll here, and let's look back. The goal of this lesson is to cite strong and thorough textual evidence to support an analysis of what the text says explicitly, as well as draw inferences. We want kids to identify different methods of annotation, okay, and that's good. That is alignment because citing evidence means we annotate. We want them to identify words that they don't know. Okay, I don't know if that so much flows right out from the text, but it is what strong readers do. And then we want them to monitor their reading. Again, it's what strong readers do. Okay, great. But the evidence outcome is cite strong and thorough textual evidence. Okay, bear with me while I scroll. Here we are. Okay, we've talked about the cover of the book. We've talked about the title of the book. We've looked at the cover of the book. We're reading the prologue, and you're going to demonstrate for me annotation. Okay, me, student, okay? Annotation. Have you heard this word, annotation? Why do we annotate? I'm so glad to see that, okay? So now we're getting into the objective piece as far as here's what I, Betsy teacher, want you, student, to do. Read and annotate. Now, you and I both know that, their previous 9 years of teachers have told them read and annotate. They're not new to this. Okay, great. So then you show me annotation, right? I don't know what a caravan is. When I have a question, I'm going to put a question mark. I'm going to put a sticky note on words that I don't know. Now we're checking for understanding. What are we doing? We're annotating. Great. Go ahead and do the next paragraph and annotate. All right. It's not that you're misaligned here, but you've got 10th grade students. So that means this is their 11th year in school. They are close to the end of their high school experience. Betsy, I want you to push them. I want to push you to push them. The Alchemist, frankly, is a very easy text to process. It's not Lexile very high, but it is complex because it's an allegory. It's so easy. You could sit down and read this book in a night, right? And some of your kids are going to do that. Oh my God, I love this book. I read it. Yes, but did you think about it? Yes, but did you get the allegory? Yes, but did you see this moment? Did you understand that moment? Did you analyze? Those are the reasons you want them annotating. Of course, when they have a question or they see a word they don't mean, yeah, absolutely. I'm not saying don't do that, but I want you to push them, okay? I want you to introduce them to the genre of allegory, after they read like the first, I think there's 5 sections in the text. After they read that first section, we're going to get into allegory, and then we're going to go back and read with new eyes that first section and go, oh my gosh, there's that allegorical moment. Oh my gosh, there's that hero's journey moment. Things like that, okay? So, I want to push you to push them, okay? And I see that you've got them annotating. It's not, I don't want you to not do what you're doing. I want you to do it more. Excuse me, those jumped up and bit me. So I hope you see what you're saying. Of course, my gosh, if you've got questions, come in and talk to me. The rest of this is really good. You've closed class well. It's clear for me to follow your lesson plan. Your direct instruction is well aligned. Your modeling is well aligned. I want you to push them to push harder. I hope that makes some sense. And hey, by the way, your differentiation and modification was very well done. I like to see that. Okay, thanks.